Hi, I'm Kate and this is Yarn Review, and today we will review a summer spring yarn from Katia Cotton Cashmere. I have color 79 here. This video is not sponsored by anyone. I paid 680 euros for this ball of yarn to try on different yarns for the spring and summer need. What we know from the label is that it's 90% cotton, 10% cashmere. The recommended knitting needle size is between 2.5 to 3.5 millimeters. For a top with short sleeves, you will need about 7 balls of this yarn. You can wash it in the washing machine with 30 degrees. You can iron it with the low temperature setting on your iron. You cannot put it in the dryer and you should wash it flat. And it's made in Spain. And some information that I googled to find out about this yarn. They don't have any certificates. We don't know where the cashmere or cotton comes from. We only know that it's manufactured in Spain. Why I was interested in this yarn? It's because it's cotton and cashmere blend. What does this actually mean? So cotton is nice and breathable, and we all know that. We all prefer cotton t-shirts for summer. But 100% cotton can be very tricky to knit with, depending on how the yarn was twisted. And if it's mercerized or not mercerized cotton, it can behave very differently on the knitted piece. It's very easy with cotton yarn for stitches to look uneven, make the piece look like the stitches are pulled one way. Cotton doesn't hold shape well. It's not stretchy at all. So it's very tricky to find a good cotton yarn for knitting. 10% cashmere is not enough to make it warm for summer, but it should be enough to give it maybe a little bit elasticity or help it to stay balanced. So it would help stitches to stay more even. It also adds some fuzzy feeling to the yarn and adds a bit softness because the cotton is not as soft and more rough. So what I would expect from this yarn before I even started knitting is for it to be nice and soft to the skin, for my stitches to look softer and more even than with 100% cotton, and add some flexibility to the knitted piece. I can't help but just keep squeezing it in my hands. It feels very nice, very soft to my face, to my hands. You could see that it's from more of the luxury side of the yarn. It does have this fuzz, it does have the softness of cashmere. I knitted 2 identical swatches. One of them is right after I knitted it, and the second one is after blocking. What I did with this one is I washed it in warm water with a bit of soap and dried it flat. I used knitting needles 2.5 millimeters for both ribbing and the stockinette stitch. It was really nice to knit with this yarn. It has 8 little strands that are twisted well together, so I didn't have the problem of knitting needles stuck in between of the strands. It doesn't have the stiffness that some cotton yarns have. What I did not expect from this yarn is that it will be so stretchy. If you work with cotton yarn, you know that it's sometimes stiff and it's not stretchy at all. But this piece is nice and stretchy. It even kind of holds the rib, which is very impressive. I know that it has 10% of cashmere, but I thought that 10% is not enough. It has a little fuzz. It's very soft and nice. You can see there's not a big difference before and after blocking. Size didn't change that much, but the stitches became nice and even. The color is not too bright, but that's just what you get if cotton is not mercerized. Based on how much yarn it took to make the swatches, I think that for no sleeves summer short top, 3, maybe 4 balls should be enough. So it's not that bad. I didn't have high hopes for this yarn because it's relatively expensive. It doesn't have any certification. But after knitting the swatches, I can say that I changed my opinion a little bit. I like it. It's very nice and soft. And it should be perfect for summer knit. And what I like the most about this yarn is that it's stretchy cotton with cashmere. So It's a stretchy, soft to touch, mostly cotton yarn that doesn't have any synthetic fibers. Let's rate it. For softness, I would give it 4 out of 5. For fuzziness, 2 out of 5. It is a little bit fuzzy, but not too much. Comparing to my hair or brushed alpaca, just a little soft fuzz. Elasticity, 2 out of 5. It is more elastic than you would expect from the cotton. It's definitely not 0. Split tendency, 5 out of 5. I'm very satisfied. I needed was 2.5 millimeters knitting needles, and it didn't split at all during knitting. So it's very nice, 5 out of 5. Best uses are summer tops, t-shirt, spring-summer sweaters, cardigan, dresses, accessories that don't require high elasticity, like not a hairband, but maybe some headscarf. And would I use it? Yes, definitely yes.